is up guys, Arolf here back again with another video, and today we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Thor Love and Thunder Mighty Thor. This is Build-A-Figure Korg, so let's get into it. So now taking a look around the packaging, Legend Series, Broken Mjolnir, Marvel's Core, you get Mighty Thor there with the logo for the movie as well. You get pictures of Jane on both sides, a different picture on the back with a brief description, so pause and pause if you want to look and read at those. UPC, scan if you want it, and without further ado, let's get into it. So taking a closer look at Mighty Thor here and her accessories, starting off with the unmasked Natalie Portman head sculpt. Really great likeness to Natalie Portman. I really love this sculpt. Digital printing tech is on point. Just don't like the bland neutral expression. Just looks very bland to me. She just looks unamused for me. But anyways, you can see the hair was sculpted in, and the ears as well. You can see there are some gradients. Uses that digital printing tech to achieve that gradient. Software plastic on the hair and the cape here. Kind of that cheapened material that Thor figure used as well. You can see some nice sculpting details on the back here with some nice painted details. A lot of intricate details here and there. One thing to mention is the cape is a little bit darker compared to the Thor figure from the review a couple of days ago, so be on the lookout for that at the end of this video if you want to check that out. But looking at it, paint apps painted cleanly, sculpting is nice. You can see some sculpted buckles in there, not painted, but it's there, so it's painted cleanly. And you can see double pinless arms and legs, so that's very nice, clean look for a figure. You got the wingtip boots here, which is heavily marveled, but I'm starting to like this look for these little figures here, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. This Mighty Thor figure also comes with the Build-A-Figure piece of Korg, which is the left leg. Looks pretty cool. So now taking a look at Mighty Thor's accessories here, starting off with the masked head sculpt. You get some nice sculpting details and paint details. You can see some software bits here and there. The likeness is there, it's just kind of covered by the mask, so it kind of makes the likeness less accurate, but Natalie Portman's there. But looking at the articulation here, the hair here is a little bit softer compared to the unmasked head sculpt, so you get a little bit more range, because the one with the unmasked head sculpt is just very stiff here, so you get full range here and there. It just has trouble looking up, but looks down pretty well. So just looking at the rest of the details here, the mask is actually overlaid on top of the sculpt. You can see there are some indents there on the cheeks, so they're I don't know if they're supposed to glue it in there. I don't know why there are indents, so I guess it doesn't move around. So yeah, that kind of makes more sense, so it doesn't move around. One thing to point out is you can see, looking at the hair sculpts here, you can see the little hair pieces that drape down. They used it on opposite sides of the figure. Look at that. That is so weird, but one thing to point out. And the last thing you get for Mighty Thor is the Mjolnir, which is broken and reformed. I checked the cracks on this one. It's not accurate to the one that we see in the trailer, but that's okay. Just a little nitpick. But looking at it, there are some terrible molding issues there. But the paint is painted cleanly on the handle, the silver there. There are some texturing details on the handle itself, but they're very faint. But you can see on this one, they painted it cleanly. It is much more bigger than the other Mjolnirs of the past. So comparing it to a couple of Mjolnirs here, you get the first Avengers one, you get the Dark World Mjolnir, and the Mjolnir that came with Captain America. So comparing to each one, I really like the handle on the Captain America one. I wish it was painted silver. This could have been the perfect size for Mjolnir. You get a little bit more details on the circle right there on the Endgame one. Comparing it to the Dark World one, you get a little more writing and a little bit more detail and some black washing here and there. And comparing it to the first Avengers one, the Walmart exclusive, it's night and day. I really love the paint that they use. And looking at the handles here, it's just, oh my gosh, an improvement, but still a downgrade at the same time. And looking at it all together in a lineup, just, oh my, it's just way bigger. And last but certainly not least, comparing it to Stormbreaker here, this came from the blue and gold Thor, which I reviewed a couple of days ago, and comparing it, these sizes are way off. Now, if they made Mjolnir this big, they should have made Stormbreaker a little bit bigger and the handle a little more beefier, but looking at it, it's way off scale. But taking a look at Mighty Thor's articulation here, starting off with the head, it's on a double ball peg or a dumbbell joint, so it does rotate all the way around, good on that. It can look up that far, just barely, because of the hair here, which is quite stiff compared to the unmasked one. She can look down that far, but if you move the hair out that way, she can get a little bit more range. She also has some tilty shifty head movement right there because of that double ball peg, so a little side to side movement and a little forward and back motion like so. Now the arms here, they do rotate out, they kind of rotate out of a 45-degree angle, so it does rotate all the way around. This part here is not a soft rubbery plastic, so if that was, then she probably could have got more range, but that's okay. Arms move outward that far, almost up to 90 degrees, inward that much. Also has a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, look at them biceps. You also have a hinge, side-to-side movement, kind of the roll of the dice motion right there. Also, on the other hand here, you get rotation and hinge up and down like so. Now, the torso here is also on a ball joint, so you get some good range, very natural range right there, so she can bend forward that far, back that much, which looks pretty good, very natural. Got some paint details as well. Side to side movement right there, 360-degree rotation and rotation all the way around quite smoothly and clickety as well. Legs move forward that far so she can sit down like so. Back not that much because it's hindered by the skirt and the way the sculpt is designed. Also has an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees right there, good range, good bend. Kind of looks awkward at certain angles, but good range. No boot rotation, but the feet here are on hinges, so they hinge down, they hinge up. You also get an ankle pivot, some good range right there. Legs also move outward that far, almost can do the splits, and yeah. Okay, now doing some size comparisons. Here is Mighty Thor next to a couple of Thor figures like the Dark World Thor, the blue and gold Thor, Korg, and Valkyrie, as well as a couple of female heroes like Captain Marvel, Lady Sif, Scarlet Witch, and Shuri. So now comparing the Mighty Thors together here, you got the MCU and comic version. You can see the inspiration that they got from some just elements of the comic version, like the wingtip boots here. You can see they made it more boot-like instead of these like little wings on the ankles here. You can see the little 3 dots there near the abdomen area. The helmets here. And the capes here are obviously different. I really like the more red saturated cape on the comic version, not this brighter red, which I don't like as much. If it was a little bit more darker, then I would have appreciated it a little bit better. But here on the camera it looks neon red, but it doesn't do it justice. You even got the symbol on the top that probably means something, but they also carry that over from the comics. Still faithful to the comics, but still modernizing it and made it more fitting for the MCU, which is just cool. So yeah, overall, I think this is a really great figure to have in your collection. So if you can find it, go ahead, pick it up right now. If you're a Thor fan or a Jane Foster fan, Natalie Portman fan, whatever, comic book Jane Foster fan, whatever. The sculpt, the paint job is amazing. The Natalie Portman head sculpt is on point. You get 2 heads. You get the unmasked and masked head sculpt. That's what they should have done with the Thor black and gold suit. They should have included an unmasked Thor head sculpt because it just looks goofy right now. It just looks too big and gold and goofy. Hopefully, like I said before, it looks good in the movie. Hopefully does it justice. double pinless joints here on this figure, so it looks like a nice clean looking figure. I wish they included that on the arms on the Thor, but whatever. I just wish it had more range in the articulation. It's just there's something not satisfying about that figure, but with this figure it's just so cool to look at. The sculpting is 10 out of 10 for me. It's on point. I really don't use numbers that much, but it's a 10 out of 10 for me. So yeah, pick this figure up if you can find her. They're going for about $24.99 right now here in the US, so she's pretty pricey. Hopefully it just stays like that for a couple more years. I'm not gonna pay $30 for Marvel Legends that doesn't come with a lot of accessories, because some lightning effects would have been nice with this figure, made it more dynamic, or some extra hands would have been cool. But yeah, that is it, guys. Hope you guys like it. Arolf Moros. This is signing out. Peace.